Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm doing my homework here, trying to give you guys an edge for free. Before we get started with week 8 and the NFL predictions as well as the touchdown parlays, I want you guys to do me a really, really big favor. Just hit that like and subscribe button, okay? And leave your comments below because it's very important that I get some feedback from you guys, okay? I need lots of subscribers. I need to get up close and personal with you guys to give you this edge for free. We're here to make money. It's been a strange season. I get it. We're struggling a lot. It seems like every weekend there's upsets all over the place. There's funny things going on around the NFL. And when I mean about funny things, like there are players that are scoring touchdowns that I never even heard of. I mean, I checked the rosters, and I think most of these guys are coming up from the practice squad, and maybe that's something I have to start searching for, which I'm doing, at the moment on my laptop. Um, well, you're going to hear a lot of noise outside of my house. They're doing they're breaking up the concrete out there. So if it's a distraction or anything, I'm sorry about that. But anyway, let's get going. And it's going to be a good weekend of football. And I think we should be able to cover some of these games and win some of these games as well as touchdown parlays. Okay. Like I said, it's been a strange season. We went 9-6 on the money lines, 10-5 on the over and unders, and then we went 9-6 against the spread this past weekend. So let's see if we can improve on these numbers. First up, Thursday night, we got the Minnesota Vikings at the Los Angeles Chargers. This is an interesting game, right? Because both these teams are coming off tough losses. And I think the Chargers are going to come into this game a little bit desperate. They really need to win this game to stay afloat in that AFC West. Seems like Kansas City got their feet underneath them. They're ready to roll. And the Broncos, of course, with their victory over the Giants, is putting a little pressure on the Chargers to get things going. But the problem I see is that this is the second year in a row that the Chargers have tried to take some of the pressure off Justin Herbert. They gave him a running game. And unfortunately, both star running backs are out. Najee Harris and I believe it's Marion Hampton, both are on the injury reserve. That doesn't help him, along with the offensive line that continues to get depleted. There are just too many injuries to overcome on that O-line. And I think Justin Herbert doing it by himself. He does have good wide receivers in Lad McConkey, Quentin Johnson, guys like that, but Keenan Allen. But the problem here is they're going to go up against a tough Vikings defense and a team that came off a disappointing defeat against the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a Brian Flores defense, and they will blitz. They will come after you. The Vikings offense, I'm not thrilled with Carson Wentz at quarterback. I don't know how long they're going to keep J.J. McCarthy out if he's healthy. This could be a situation where he might come in this weekend and play. I just think the Vikings have too many weapons. I believe, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, you got Jordan Mason, you have TJ Hawkinson. I think it'll be enough for the Vikings to money line. And with the over and under of 44.5, I'm going to take the over of 44.5. I believe there'll be points in this game. And then the spread, I'm going to take at +3. Okay, the Vikings are the underdog coming into this game. I don't know how they're the underdog. The money line that we took with the Vikings, I really believe the Vikings will win this game. They should have been the favorites with all the injuries the Chargers have. So it's kind of strange that Vegas put them as the underdog. This should be a great situation for a lot of sports bettors out there. Take the Vikings. I just don't see how they're going to lose this game. It would be crazy. So money line the Vikings, take the over of 44.5 and take the +3, being the Vikings are the underdogs. I think that's a gimme. Also, for the touchdowns in this game, I'm going to look for maybe Jordan Mason yet again to get into the end zone for the Vikings. I think TJ Hawkinson might play a key role here in getting in the end zone, or Josh Oliver, the other tight end, simply because I think that the secondary of the Chargers is a decent secondary, but Justin Jefferson has to start getting into the end zone. So whoever starts at quarterback, you got to look for Jefferson to get in the end zone. I like Jordan Addison for touchdown parlays here. For the Chargers, I'm going to look for Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnson. Those guys are very good in getting in the end zone. Let's move on to the next game. We have the Miami Dolphins, I believe, right? Checking my notes right now. Yeah, the Miami Dolphins are going to head to the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I hate this game all the way through, and I'll tell you why. Reason I hate this game is because the Dolphins are really a bad football team with Tua at quarterback. They have so much talent. It's bad coaching or it's just bad quarterbacking. It's one of the two. I know that they're missing Tyreek Hill, but check out the weapons they got, right? Devon A-Chain, Jalen Waddle, Darren Waller. I think he's still out. I don't know if he's going to play this game. He did get injured. You got Malik Washington, and yet you got a quarterback who's thrown already 10 interceptions. And then there was a press conference where they asked the coach about Tua, and he comes out and says, well, I hope he doesn't throw 10 interceptions this weekend. I mean, seriously, you're going to joke about something like this? I don't like the Dolphins. I'm going to take the Falcons here with the money line. Okay, they're the favorite anyway. We're going to go with the, I believe if I check my notes correctly, we're going to go with the under of 44.5. And the reason for it, I think all the scoring is going to come from the Atlanta Falcons. But this is a really bad football game to bet. And I'll tell you why. Even though the Miami Dolphins, even though the Falcons are the better team, right? You got Tua at quarterback. I told you for the longest, I don't believe in Tua. I'm not a big Tua Tagovailoa fan. I think he wasn't even worth a first-round pick years ago. It's one of the reasons why Brian Flores left. Just couldn't get this kid to do what he needed to do. Mike McDaniel comes in, and he's just – I mean, I don't know what they thought. If we bring in Mike McDaniel, maybe he's an offensive guru that could get this guy to play better, but it just didn't pan out. I don't like Miami. I think if Quinn Ewers, right, if that's his name, the first-round pick, bring him in. I believe he was a first-round pick. Bring him in, right? Put some pressure on Tua or start him. See what he's got. He's got to be doing better than Tua. Tua is just not good. The Atlanta Falcons came off a bad loss to the San Francisco 49ers. Okay, I was, after coming off a huge victory over the Buffalo Bills, I expected the Falcons to beat up on the 49ers, who are injury-ridden. I still don't know how that team continues to win the way they do. Listen, I've been saying it all year. To me, they were the cardiac kids in the beginning of the season, and now they're stealing victories. And what I mean about stealing victories, the Falcons should have won this game. They have a good defense, but they got run over by Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he just destroyed him. I think the Falcons aren't this bad of a football team. Michael Penix, he's got a shotgun of an arm. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to take that plus 7.5. For some reason, I just think the Dolphins were embarrassed last week by Cleveland. Please excuse the construction outside. For some reason, I just think that they got embarrassed by the Cleveland Browns. I mean, that was just a shame. And I just think they'll rebound, play a little bit harder. I think there are players in that locker room with a lot of pride and really talented football team. Again, if you was looking at this game on paper, you would take the Miami Dolphins to beat the Falcons. That's why I'm giving them the plus 7.5. I just think the Falcons are the better team here, or coach better anyway, with a better quarterback. Take the Falcons, money line it, look for Bijan Robinson, Drake London, and look for maybe Darnell Mooney trying to get into that end zone, right? Kyle Pitts is another guy. On the plus side, Tyler Algier, I don't know how bad is that injury he got the other night. For the Miami Dolphins, I'm just going to go with one guy, and that's Devon A-Chain. Do not pick any receivers. If Tua if Tua is the quarterback for this game, I wouldn't even touch any receivers for touchdown parlays. So stick with Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Darnell Mooney. I believe should be able to get. Oh, by the way, I have to mention it's National Tight Ends Weekend, so be aware of the tight ends in these games. Like the first game, I would have with Minnesota, I would have taken T.J. Hockenson. With this one, I would take Kyle Pitts. Okay. So money line of Falcons, take the under 44.5, and we're going to go with the plus 7.5. I think Miami will hang around just to mess up a lot of sports bettors. Don't hang around, so take the plus 7.5. All right, let's go to the next game. I believe the Cincinnati Bengals, right? Yeah. I believe the New York Jets are heading to the Cincinnati Bengals, and guys, I wouldn't even touch the touchdown parlay for the New York Jets. They're just a mess on offense. They really are. This is an 0-17. They really don't have no hope at quarterback. They'll probably more likely picking in the first round. Probably the first round pick this year will be a quarterback for the Jets. They need a quarterback. Justin Fields, he's garbage. I was expecting a lot more from the guy. He was given the opportunity. They spent $30 million for 2 years for this guy, and I just don't. Maybe it's a coaching thing. They don't know how to put him in a good position. Because what did I say for the past few weeks? You got a workhorse back there in Breece Hall. That's the guy that should be toting the football for the next what few games, right? I mean, since day one, he should have been your horse. He should have been the guy getting the ball for 40 times a game. Believe me, I don't think they'd be 0-7, but for some reason, the coaching staff doesn't believe in him. Garrett Wilson, I don't know if he's going to play. They don't even know how to use him. He doesn't even have help on the other side of the position. Let's be honest. Alan Lazard, Josh Reynolds, okay, outside of Mason Taylor, who's a rookie, and you're asking too much for him to do, this team can't get in the end zone. They just can't. The passing offense is horrific. This is a gimme. You take the Bengals. After what they did to the Pittsburgh Steelers with that offense, and Joe Flacco was given 10 days. He knows what he's doing. Now he has an extra week. I just think they're going to wipe the field with the Jets. I mean, the Jets have a decent defense, okay? But they're starting to quit on the coach, okay? I think head coaching is above the head of Aaron Glenn. I just think the Bengals are just going to wipe them out of the stadium. Take the Bengals, money line it. We're going to go with the over and under. We're going under 43.5. Most of the points will come from the Bengals, although their defense gave up 31 to Pittsburgh, and they continue to be a problem, almost like the Dallas Cowboys defense. I think Trey Hendrickson's coming back. That might give them a lift. They really need this game. They know that if they get to 500 and another Pittsburgh loss, they'll be right there fighting for first place. Just a crazy season, right? Just a crazy season. Take the -6.5 on this one. And touchdown parlays will probably go to Jamar Chase. Now I believe Sauce Gardner will not play. I think T. Higgins should get one in. Maybe Chase Brown. Yeah, it is going to be it's going to be a can of whip ass that's going to be opened up on the Jets. So take the Bengals. That's another gimme. Let's go to the next game. I hate that I'm rambling on with certain games, but I'm giving you insights as well as the touchdown parlays. I'm trying to do everything all at once. Let's go with the next game. And I believe in this game, let me just check my notes here. All right. It's kind of a bit of a mess over here checking notes. So we got the Cleveland Browns at the New England Patriots. Okay, well, Cleveland looked impressive. Quinshon Judkins, just a beast, 3 touchdowns from the quarterback. I mean, he played quarterback and scored twice, and he ran one in at the running back position. This guy's a workhorse. I think he's going to help give Cleveland Browns an opportunity and a chance to stay in this game against the New England Patriots. This is why I'm going to go with the +7. Cleveland has a good defense. They really do. Now, a lot of people are going to run to the sports books. They're going to run to their sports apps, and they're all going to pick the New England Patriots. I get all of that. All the money's going to roll to them. I get it. You got a rookie quarterback in Dylan Gabriel, who played pretty well last week against Miami's defense. But I just think I'm going to money line the Patriots. I'm going to take the over and under of under 40 and a half. And I'm going to take the +7 because I believe Cleveland's going to give them a chance. Quinshawn Junkins, the running game, is going to give Cleveland a chance, but it won't be enough. I think the Patriots, Drake May's playing well this year in the MVP conversation, believe it or not. This is a momentum game for New England. I feel like they're not going to be a letdown. I think they're going to stay focused. They beat up on the Titans. They beat up on the Saints. The schedule is easy, but unfortunately, they don't make the schedules. They play who's on the schedule. And the Cleveland Browns are on their schedule. I think the Patriots win this game. Look for touchdowns for the Patriots from Ramondre Stevenson, right? Kayshon Boutte. Stephon Diggs, I don't know why he hasn't gotten in the end zone. Don't know if he's just sometimes used as a decoy to run around. He does get catches. But let's get this guy in the end zone. All right. Travion Henderson's another guy I would take. Hunter Henry definitely could be used in because Cleveland has a good secondary. I think I might go with Hunter Henry. As far as the Cleveland Browns, just Quinshawn Junkins, pretty much as a touchdown parlay. Again, money line the Patriots. Take the under of 40 and a half. I think most of the points will come from the Patriots. And take the +7. Okay, let's move on. Next game, we got the New York Giants at Philadelphia Eagles. You talk about a revenge game. This is another gimme right here. Give me the Eagles as a money line. Give me the over and under of 43 and a half. Over 43 and a half. I think there will be points in this game. And give me the +7. I think the Giants will always hang around. They have a decent defense. Yeah, that's pretty much appropriate when I said decent defense that I coughed. Because I don't understand how you give up 33 points in the fourth quarter to the Denver Broncos, who were struggling on offense, and you went into that fourth quarter with a huge lead. In fact, I believe the lead was 19-0 going into the fourth quarter with over 10 minutes. I get it. But 33 points? No, I think it was a devastating loss. I think Jackson Dart proved to be an elite quarterback coming into his own. Okay, I don't want to over-exaggerate it, but he was put in a situation to win the game, and I thought he did when he scored, thanks to the field goal kicker missing the kick, missed 2 of them, but also there was a blunder with Brian Dable going for the 2 points before that fourth quarter when they got a touchdown. It would have made a difference. So the coaching staff of the Giants cost them that game. I don't want to blame it on just the field goal kicker, although, yes, he takes most of it, but the coaching staff. You got a 19-0 lead. You're on the road. You're playing at Denver, one of the best teams in the league. Should have been a victory. 33 points. It's just mind-boggling, and believe me, sports bettors got rocked for that. I just think the Eagles starting to wake up now. They're going to get revenge on the Giants for what they did to them 2 weekends ago, right on a Thursday night. I think Jalen Hurts looked fantastic in the passing game. I think Saquon still needs to get the ball more, but they do have a plethora of running backs. I think they got to get A.J. Dillon going here. Okay, so let's go with touchdowns. Who's going to get in? I keep choosing Saquon. He hasn't been getting in. So I think a tush push here with Jalen Hurts. I think A.J. Brown is red hot. Could this be the game that Saquon gets it in, right? It's against his ex-teammates. Let's do that for the Eagles. For the Giants, I'm just going to stick with Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbo. I know Wan'Dale Robinson's good for one. Maybe Daniel Bellinger, one of the tight ends. I just think the Eagles remember how to cover little Jordan Humphrey. So let's money line the Eagles. Let's go with the over and under with the over of 43 and a half. I think there'll be some scoring here, but let's go with the +7. And again, it's a rivalry game between Eagles Giants. I think there's so much pride with the Giants. They're coming off a terrible loss. Don't hang in there. Let's move on with the next game. Okay, we got the Bills. Buffalo Bills at the Panthers. This is going to be another gimme for me. I think two straight losses. The Bills, they have to. They're not going to give away this division to the New England Patriots. They're just not. I know they took a loss to the Patriots, but down the road they'll get their revenge. Let's go with the Buffalo Bills with the money line. Let's go with the over and under. Let's go with the over of 46.5. And let's go with the minus 7.5. I think they should be able to win this game by 10, maybe even 20. I think Buffalo's angry, two straight losses. This probably woke them up. And I believe they were on a bye last weekend. So they had some time to think about what they need to do on offense to wake up. Look for Josh Allen, a big game. Look for James Cook to have a big game. And Keon Coleman's got to get going. Shakir is doing his thing at one side. Coleman has to start doing on the other side. Dalton Kincaid. If I'm looking for touchdowns in this game, Josh Allen, Dalton Kincaid, James Cook, obvious. Okay. As for the Carolina Panthers, they're gonna come back down to earth. They played the Jets. This ain't the Jets. This is the high-scoring Buffalo Bills. I don't think they'll be able to hang in there with them. So I'm going to go with the minus 7.5. As far as touchdowns, I'm only going to touch two players out of this. I don't like the Panthers' offense. Okay, I'm going to stick with maybe Rico Dowdle to do most of the work this week. Okay, so let's do that. I'll show you the whiteboard later on. Okay, so I'm just going to go through some of these games right now, all right, because that's more important. And then I'll show you the whiteboard so you guys could write down what I'm putting down. So, all right, let's move on to the next game. Here we go. We got the Chicago Bears at the Baltimore Ravens. Okay, let me just flip this over a bit, right? This is where I get a lot of information from. All right. I'm going to money line the Ravens. Okay. This is a tough bet. Okay. I put an asterisk next to this game, Bears at Ravens. And I'll tell you why. It all looks good for Chicago, right? Winning record. They're going to come in. They did beat the Saints. They looked impressive. The problem I have with the Chicago Bears coming into this game is that they could be one of those, if I say this correctly, Jekyll and Hyde type of football team. You don't know what you're going to get from Caleb Williams. I think the Ravens are upset. They're angry. They want to win. Okay. I think Lamar Jackson comes back, so that's going to help the running game as well as open up the passing game. So I think the Ravens, I'm going to money line. I'm going to go with the over and under with the under of 50.5. And I'm going to take the spread of plus 6.5. I think the Bears are going to hang in there with their defense. They do have trouble in that secondary, but I think their defense will hang in enough going into the fourth quarter. I just see Caleb Williams making a couple of mistakes here in this game. I think having Lamar Jackson back is going to help the Ravens get jacked up for this game. So money line the Ravens, take the 50.5, the under, okay, and take the plus 6.5. Touchdowns in this game, it's the obvious, right? We want to go with Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, okay, maybe get Zay Flowers back in, okay, and then with or maybe Mark Andrews in this game, right? With the Bears, look for DeAndre Swift, look for Roman Unduce, right? I hope I said that right? His name's difficult to pronounce, no disrespect. But look for Roman to get into that end zone, okay? Tight ends, maybe Cole Kmet could surprise, right? DJ Moore. And Luther Burden could be one of those slot players that comes in, could stretch the defense a little bit, all right? So I'm taking the under, even though it was tempting to take the over 50.5. I think points, this could be one of those 27 to 23 games. That's why I'm going to keep it under. But take the Ravens with the money line, the under 50.5, and the plus 6.5 spread. Okay, I think the Bears will hang in there. Of course, the Ravens are the favorite going into this game. All right, let's go to the next one. We got the Buccaneers, correct? I think they should be at home, right? Nope, they're on the road against the Saints. This is another gimme. They did suffer an injury with Mike Evans in their loss to Detroit last night. Um, Baker Mayfield, he's in the conversation for the MVP race as well. Um, I just think this is another gimme. I mean, I just don't see Tampa Bay losing this game. Although I'll say this about the Saints, they always hang around. They wait for you to make the mistake. They capitalize. Okay, Spencer Rattler had a bad, had a bad game last week. I think he'll rebound. I think he'll play better, but he's going to go up against a tough Tampa Bay football team. Um, I'm going to take the Buccaneers on the money line. They're playing the Saints. Okay, they're on the road. The over and under 47.5. Believe it or not, I'm going to take the over. It was tempting to take the under. I'm going to take the over only because I think most of the points will come from the Buccaneers. They were held to 9 points by Detroit. I think they want to come back and, put some points up there. I don't know how long Bucky Irving's going to be out. Mike Evans, we know, is out, but very impressive with Tez Johnson. Take him as a touchdown prop. Take Rachaad White as a touchdown prop. Obviously, the rookie of the year, in my opinion, Emeka Egbuka. Okay, take him. All right. Sterling Shepard playing well, although he did have a fumble in Detroit. I'm going to go with the over and under with the over 47.5, and I'm going to take that plus 5.5 for the Saints. Really don't know who to pick. Maybe Rashid Shaheed or Alvin Kamara. Maybe Taysom Hill could come in and throw a touchdown or something like that. Those would be my only touchdown props. But if I had to touch a touchdown prop in this game, Cade Otton, okay, yet again, those national tight end weekend, right? So maybe the Buccaneers are where you want to throw your touchdown prop. Let's move on. Okay, we got another game here, right? Okay, we got the 49ers, okay, at the Texans. All right, Texans coming off a tough defeat, right? Lifeless on offense. Nico Collins got hurt. Those are the only two weapons they got, Nico Collins and Nick Chubb. So I don't see how these guys are going to beat the 49ers. This is a tough one. Because this is a game that could trip you up. I put them down as a tough bet. I believe going into this game, the 49ers are the actual underdog. And that's why I took the plus 1.5. You got to jump on it. From what I've seen from the 49ers, they're cardiac kids. They're injury ridden. I don't know how the coaching staff is doing it, but kudos to them. All right. I tell you what, if this team gets in the playoffs, I might go for coach of the year for Kyle Shanahan. How is he doing this with all the injuries? Robert Sala's doing a fantastic job, keeping that defense and the team engaged the way he's coaching that defense. I just think this is another situation where Christian McCaffrey's going to go off. I don't see enough offense. Great defense on the Texan side. I like that defense, but Seattle was too much. They weren't getting points. They fell behind early, 14-0, and then from there, the Texans look lifeless on offense. Money line of 49ers. Take the under of 42.5 and take the plus 1.5. Now, this was a tough bet because knowing me, this might be the game where the 49ers screw me over, okay? Touchdowns, look for Kendrick Bourne. George Kittle is back, but he's doing a lot of blocking. But I think this will be a game where he'll be available to get touchdowns. Look for George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. Okay, for the Texans, I would stay away from the touchdown props with the Texans. If Nico was healthy, I might have put him down, but that defense for the 49ers is going to be a bit too much. All right, let's move on. I believe the next game on our slate will be the Dallas Cowboys at the Denver Broncos. Oof. Okay. I don't know how the Cowboys, they're explosive. Listen, let's throw it out there. Dak Prescott is playing out of his mind. Javonte Williams looks good at running back. George Pickens is hard to cover, and CeeDee Lamb is back, and Jake Ferguson is becoming a solid tight end for the Cowboys. but they are going up against a tough defense. However, what I've seen the past weekend when the Giants came in and were able to do what they needed to do against Denver, this game scares me a bit. And I did put it down as an asterisk, as a tough bet, because Bo Nix, although he put up 33 points and looked solid in bringing the team back to win against the Giants, for 3 quarters, he did not look very good. The offense did not look very good. They got weapons. So this is a game that's going to be definitely over 48 and a half. When you're looking at the over and under, it's at, remember, we're taking early lines. I'm taking the over of 48 and a half. I think there'll be some scoring here. But again, it all depends how Bo Nix is going to play. I think the Cowboys are going to get some points here. I think they'll struggle a little bit, but I think they should be able to get at least 23 points in this game. I think Denver's going to have to match the Cowboys' ferocity on offense. If not, the Cowboys can pull the upset. I don't like this game at all, but I am going to moneyline the Broncos. I am going to take the over of 48 and a half. There will be scoring. And I'm going to take the -3 that the Broncos will cover. This is just a tough thing all across the board. Touchdown parlays from this game. Listen, the Cowboys, I think George Pickens, okay? I don't think the Denver corners can hang with this guy. Look how poorly they played against the Giants wide receivers. And they didn't have Malik Nabers. Now you're going up against CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson, Cavante Turpin, Jalen Tolbert, guys like that with a red-hot quarterback. Okay? So look for the Cowboys to get those guys into the end zone, all right? For the Broncos, unless Bo Nix plays a whole lot better, you could have Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin, R.J. Harvey, J.K. Dobbins. If you want to throw in Adam Troutman as a tight end, because it's National Tight Ends Weekend as a touchdown prop, that would be great. Right now, I'm moneylining the Broncos. I'm taking the over of 48 and a half, and I'm going to stick with the -3. Broncos are the favorite, but not by much. That game is scary. Let's move on. Okay. We're now going to get the Colts. I believe it's the Titans at the Colts, guys. Yet again, don't pick no touchdown parlays from the Titans. Stay away from that team with that. Come with the Colts. Jonathan Taylor, who gives you touchdowns seems like every weekend he's scoring 3 times. Jonathan Taylor. I like to see Alec Pierce get in the end zone. Maybe that would be a nice touchdown prop. Obviously, Jalen Warren's doing this thing. Okay. This is a gimme. I just think the Colts are just the most talented team here. Moneyline the Colts. The under, I'm going to take for the 46 and a half. I'm going to take the under. I think most of the scoring is coming from the Colts. Unless the Titans come in and do flea flickers all around the place or do something crazy, I don't see an upset. I don't see any of that happening. The -14 spread is what bothers me. Do I think this is going to be a blowout? It should be. With everything that the Colts are doing, it should be. The -14 and a half is what scares me. It's really up there. And that scares me a whole lot. So I am going to take the -14 and a half. Colts should win this game by 10. They should win this game by 15 or 17 points. Like 31-17 would be something, right? Right? Not 31-17, like 34-17, something like that. But I don't know. I'm just throwing a number out there. I am taking the under. I don't even know why I said 17 points for these guys. I don't think they're going to get in the end zone. Maybe a couple of field goals, whatnot. But you never know, right? This is how Vegas trips you up. All the money lines going with the Colts. Be careful with that spread. I could easily put it down as 14 and a half because the Titans defense is not a bad defense. It's just that they went through a coaching change, and I just think that coach also is clueless. I mean, he's the interim coach, and I just don't think it's enough to really stay hanging there with a Colts offense that's just unbelievable at the moment with Jonathan Taylor, Jalen Warren. I just think the Colts. That's a gimme. Let's move on to the next game, and this is going to be another tough bet. Okay. You got the Green Bay Packers at the Pittsburgh Steelers on a Sunday night. I'm a money line the Packers. Yes, I'm gonna go up against. I'm going against my heart and my favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I just feel that the Steelers defense is just not there yet. They need to fire their defensive coordinator, Terrell Austin. Too much talent on that defensive side of football, the most overpaid defense in the league, and you're not getting nothing out of it. I mean, where is the blitz package? For God's sakes, Joe Flacco, a 40-year-old quarterback, was able to do a bootleg and just, I mean, this guy threw for 4 touchdowns last week against the Steelers defense, Joe Flacco. Now you got a younger version with legs, okay, and could run in Jordan Love. The defense is just not there for Pittsburgh. I'm a little nervous about this game. I want my Steelers to win, but I have to be realistic as a sports bettor like everybody else. And when I looked up the analytics to this game, it just doesn't favor the Steelers. Offensively, they can hang in there. I'm at money line the Packers. I'm going to take the under 44.5. I should have taken the over. I think both these teams are going to, especially if the Steelers start giving up points. I have this gut feeling that Aaron Rodgers is going to keep them in the game like he always does, right? It seems like the Steelers' offense is ahead of the defense at this moment. But we're going to take the under 44.5. And we're going to take the plus 3.5, obviously, because the Packers, believe it or not, are the favorite. And, I mean, you should believe it, the way the Steelers' defense is playing. And that's the only thing that hurts the Steelers at the moment, is their defense. So take the Packers, money line it, the under 44.5. Take the plus 3.5. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to keep them in the game. Touchdown parlays, look for Josh Jacobs, Tucker Kraft, Romeo Dobbs for the Green Bay side. Maybe a bootleg of Jordan Love getting in there. For the Steelers, obviously, they did throw 4 touchdowns last weekend with their tight ends. I think this weekend they'll try to get DK in the end zone. I think Aaron Rodgers is good for 2 touchdowns again. I think Jaylen Warren maybe finds the end zone this week. Or if I had to pick a tight end, Pat Fryermuth woke up last weekend. Let's see if they start using him. Okay, let's move on to the next game. And the final game on Monday night. You have the Washington Commanders at the Kansas City Chiefs. Wow, you talk about a tough spot. Washington should have won that game last weekend because now they're coming into this game desperate. They need a victory. I don't, the spread is high at 9.5. And I'm going to take the plus 9.5. I think Washington will hang in there. Do I think the spread is too high, or do I think that Kansas City will win by 10? My heart tells me that Kansas City is going to win by 10, which will cover the spread if you took the minus. But I'm going to take the plus 9.5 because I think Washington's coming into this game desperate. They need to get back into the playoff race. They need to find a way to stay above the Dallas Cowboys, okay? And to hopefully find a spot, because that NFC North, with I told you in the beginning of the year, Green Bay, Minnesota, and Detroit, they're going to take a couple of it's going to be 3 teams out of that division that's going into playoffs. And look at the way Chicago's playing. So, yeah, this is a desperate game for Washington. That's why I'm going to take that plus 9.5. I'm going to take the over of 48.5. There will be scoring. We know the Chiefs can score now that they got Rashee Rice back. Okay, he opened up that whole offense last week. Washington, I don't know if Jaden Daniels is going to be healthy enough to do what he needs to do. I think Marcus Mariota, if he plays, we're taking the Kansas City Chiefs as the money line. We're taking the over 48.5, and we're going to take that plus 9.5. Okay. Now, touchdowns, we got Kareem Hunt, Rashee Rice looked impressive, Xavier Worthy, Travis, whole bunch of guys you could pick on Kansas City. As far as Washington, they're tough with touchdown props. I like Zach Ertz. Think this is a Zach Ertz type of game. Ja'Cory Merritt, also known as Bill Merritt, he needs to get in the end zone. I don't know why Washington hasn't found a way to get this guy in the end zone near the goal line. But that pretty much does it as far as my parlays of picking games as well as touchdown parlays, right? So I'm going to show you the whiteboard. You guys could write down what we chose, okay? And this way, you guys can mix and match. I told you my touchdown parlays while I was going through these games. If you missed it, rewind it back, okay? Obviously, we're still in the Halloween month. You can see back here, little Mikey Myers, okay? A lot of tricks. Hopefully, I can give you these treats, all right? I think we have 2 weekends left in October for football here. But let me pause this tape, okay, and let me show you the whiteboard, and I'll give you guys time to write it down. So let me just pause this tape real quick here. All right, guys, I got the whiteboard going here. So you can see we got the Vikings, Falcons, Bengals, Patriots, and the Eagles and Bills as the money line. We got the Vikings with the over of 44.5. Okay, we got the +3 going there. We also put the tough bet on that game with the Chargers on Thursday night. We got the Falcons under 44.5. We got the +7.5. We got the Bengals at under 43.5 against the Jets with the -6.5. We feel they'll cover. We got Cleveland at New England. We're taking the Patriots right under that under 40.5. I just think the Patriots will be all the scoring you need. And we're going to take the +7 because we believe the running game of Quinshawn Junkins as well as Myles Garrett on defense will keep it close. We're going to go with that revenge game with the Eagles against the Giants at Philly. We'll take the Eagles. We'll take the over 43.5. We got the +7 going. All right. We think the Giants, despite that terrible 33-point loss that they gave up in that fourth quarter, we still feel that they're a good defense, good enough to hang in there against the Eagles. It's a rivalry. And then, of course, the Buffalo Bills there against the Panthers, right? That's just a gimme, right? The Bills, the over 46.5, they had a few days to get prepared for this team. Take the -7.5. And there you have it. That's the first games. Okay, so let's move on to the next whiteboard. Okay, guys, there you see it right there. With money line the Ravens against the Bears, we could have easily went over the 50.5. I believe it'll be like a 27-23 type game. That's why we're going to keep it under at 50.5. We're taking a +6.5, however. We think the Bears are going to hang in there. They could pull the upset, okay, but we're going to take the Ravens. Actually, the Ravens, I believe, are the favorites of this game. That's why we took that +6.5. All right, let's move on. We got the 49ers. We got the under 42.5. And we're going to take that +1.5. They're playing the Houston Texans. So this should be one of those tough defensive games, maybe one of those 20-13 type games. Okay. Moving on, we got the Buccaneers over 47.5, +5.5. They're the favorites, but we're going to take the Saints at +5.5 to hang in there. I see some scoring. I think I could have taken the under, but I chose the over. It's only because they're in the South. These two teams love to throw points against each other. Over 47.5. I think most of the scoring will come from Tampa, but I think the Saints are going to hang in there for some reason. I don't know. Then you got the Cowboys going to Denver. We're taking the Broncos. This is a tough bet. You can see by the asterisks. This is a tough bet. Over 48.5 -3. I don't feel good about that game, especially after what I saw, what the Giants did. In fact, the past 2 weekends, what the Jets and Giants defenses did to the Broncos. But the Cowboys don't have that type of defense. I think the Broncos will be able to get some points up there. Then we're taking the Colts, right? That's a gimme against the Titans, under 46.5. Titans have no offense. The -14.5 is because I'm expecting a blowout. I don't think the Titans are going to hang in there. Although they have a decent defense, I don't think it's enough. Then we're going to go to the next game, right? The Sunday night game should be a good one and a tough one. And the Green Bay Packers roll into Pittsburgh, get this victory, keep it under 44.5. I just think the Steelers defense is just not there. They need to fire their defensive coordinator. Terrell Austin's just terrible. There's no blitz package what to speak of. +3.5. I think the Steelers will hang in there, I think the Packers have just too many weapons for that Steelers defense, and they'll pull it out, either in overtime or whatnot. Then you got the Washington Commanders at Kansas City. Tough break for Washington, right? They have an injured quarterback, um, coming off a tough loss against the Dallas Cowboys, in which they should have won. I think Kansas City should win by 10, but I took a plus 9.5 because I think Washington's the more desperate team. But I'm going to take the over 48.5. I think Kansas City woke up. I think they're about to take over that AFC, and the league is going to be on notice because Kansas City, I think, is bad. So Rashid Rice makes them a better offense. So there you have it, folks. That's my whiteboard. All right, guys, there you have it. Pretty much did all the homework for you guys, giving you this edge for free. Just this past weekend, I believe it was last night itself. Don't know what happened with the sports apps with FanDuel. I don't know if we were the only ones that went through it. We couldn't get our bets in. Thank God I put my bets in on Sunday night, and that's something I rarely do. But I didn't win anything. I was actually upset about how so many teams this past weekend did not live up to the expectations. Okay, and particularly the Denver Broncos. That New York Giants game was just terrible for me, ruined every parlay. And there are a lot of players that are coming into these games, scoring touchdowns. Not on. I mean, when I look up rosters, I look up to see who's coming up from the practice squad. I guess a lot of coaching staffs out there are trying to mix up their players and probably mix up, what other teams study for, right? Like if you're gearing up to stop, let's say, just for example, let's say you're gearing up to stop Daniel Bellinger of the Giants, and they end up putting in little Jordan Humphrey from the practice squad, and all of a sudden the other tight end that they have starts making plays, right? Something like that could really trip you up as a sports bettor. But I'm trying to do my best, guys, to give you that edge. But you have to hit that like and subscribe button for Casino Pete. This way you guys get this edge for free. I'm in your face, and you guys will be able to make some money, okay? We did do poorly on the money lines, even though it was a winning record of 9-6. You always want to keep that number above 10, maybe 11, because the money lines are really the easiest ones. But like I said, there's a lot of upsets going on. And then the over and under, surprisingly, we finally got to 10 wins on that, right? There were 15 games. We managed to get 10 right on the over and unders. Let's hope we continue that success. And against the spread, anytime you have a winning record with the spread, it's okay. But you still want to improve on those numbers. We were 9-6 last weekend. But it is October. There are a lot of tricks. We just want to give you the treats. All right. Casino Pete's here to help you guys go to your local casinos and sports books and put in the proper wagers. Hopefully FanDuel's up and they corrected their mistakes so we could get these bets in. Touchdown parlays, okay. Like I always tell you, bet small and win big. I had a 50 cents. I have 50 cents on a 15 leg touchdown parlay that could have paid me $933,000. How close did I come to it? I managed to hit nine players, because most of that parlay was on the plus side, and I managed to hit 9. I missed the 6, and how I missed the 6, it's crazy because there were a lot of overthrows in the end zone. And lots of times, some of those running backs that I had on the plus side that were up there like in the 900s or whatever, when they were about to score, they got tackled right there at the goal line. So it was crazy. It was interesting because a 50 cents bet was going to pay me over $900,000. And that's the beauty and the fun about your sports app, that you don't need $100. You don't need $500. You don't need 1,000 or whatnot. Those small little bets can give you what you're looking for. You just have to pick and choose what players you think are going to get in that end zone. I love touchdown parlays. Player props don't pay as much. All right, sometimes I do $2 player props to win me $40, $50. I did a player prop the other day. Well, I didn't put it in, but I did a player prop with a same game parlay. And what happened was, I looked at it and I was like, wait a minute. I did about 20 legs on it, and all it's going to pay is $151. And it was a $2 bet. I get it. But if you shorten the parlay and you're looking to make an extra 20 or $30, hey, that's not bad, right? Listen, if people are out there doing same game parlays, they're not going to pay as much. But if you're looking for those small little hits, like turning $1 into $30, turning $2 into $50, then I recommend it. But if you're looking for the big hit, the big whopper, the ones that are going to pay in the thousands, then touchdown parlays are for you guys. All right, because you're going to be betting small to win big. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much does it for this week's predictions. Okay, and touchdown parlays. Look at the whiteboard, rewind the video. Okay, thank you for tuning into my channel. Much, much appreciated. I really would love to hear from you guys, as well as get a lot of subscriptions and a lot of viewers. We're trying our best, right? And I'm doing all of this for free for you guys, right? So I could be up close and personal throughout the season, as well as the playoffs and the Super Bowl. So I really hope I was informative this weekend. Okay, week 8, we're almost halfway there, but we got it. We got to get it in, right? We got to get these bets in, and we got to make sure that we win some money. I know there's guys out there winning, and so congratulations if you're one of those guys. If you're struggling like me every now and then, we're going to take our losses. Well, let's get better, right? Let's do our best, right? I'm certainly trying for you guys, all right? It's not just about me. It's about you guys, and I really care for you guys to win money, all right? I always want to beat Vegas. I always want to beat the sports books. I always want to beat the sports apps. There's money out there to be made. We just got to go get it. All right. So, let's go get it this weekend, guys. All right. And hopefully I'll see you again next weekend for week number 9. Let's hope week number 8 is the promise. All right. Let's see if we get this. All right, guys. See you next weekend. Hit the like and subscribe button for yet the 1,000th time that I've told you to do that. And good luck this weekend. See you soon.